Hello, everyone, and I'm very happy to be here and to see so many people in the audience. Today, I'm going to talk about 10 tips or 10 advices how to manage your team, development team. And before we start, I would like to ask in the audience, who is here developer? To raise a hand. Okay, nice, lots of developers. Is there any project manager maybe? Only few, that's how it should be. Is there any merchant here maybe that want to listen? Okay, only one. Agency? Other agency, okay, nice. Okay, so developers mostly. Before I start, I don't know what you know about me. I have been speaking on several events, but not that much. So I would like to introduce myself a little bit more and to tell you why I think that I can give some advices regarding how to manage the teams. I finished computer science engineer. I'm a computer science engineer, but I never actually code or was professionally doing the code. I was more passionate to talk with people, to work with people. I started my career in Inchu. I don't know if anyone knew about this agency. It's one of the best agencies after interactiv4. And I started there, and I worked there for 3 years, and I really learned lots of stuff because we were managing clients from all over the world, all kinds of different people. And in the beginning of the year, I started to work for interactiv4, and today we work mostly with Spanish clients, but we are expanding worldwide. And it makes me to be 4 years in Magento and dealing with Magento, and also I'm very proud to be Magento 1 and Magento 2 certified. So as I said, I manage lots of teams. I really like to work with passionate juniors, developers. I think that I can do most with them. I was working with seniors, technical leaders. I was working with almost all countries in the world, mostly United States, but all different religions and all different types of clients, B2C, B2B, and Magento 1, Magento 2, and I think that I have a couple of things to say. Today, what I'm going to tell is going to be based especially from my experience, and I know that there are different ways how you can approach to the same problem or to find a solution, and I'm going to tell what I think, and that also maybe, especially developers, maybe going to disagree with something, and I like when people disagree, so after that we can have a good discussion. So let's start. My first tip that I learned, and that is very basic, and you're going to say, oh, this is no-brainer, is that we are all in this together. So, but it happens to me that I was working with the teams, with the people in the team that was fighting with each other. And I think that the foundation for a good project is if you set it in the right way, that everyone on the project work on the project together. And that means that everyone work together, there is only one team, we all together have one goal, and that problems are solved together. That team should support and help each other. And as you can see, for each tip, I put some version of a movie that I think that ironically or totally correspond to the name. So basically, to set a project in the right way, to set a team in the right way, everyone needs to have a clear idea that we don't fight with each other, we work together, and essentially we all want this project to be launched and to be good. So in that way, we need to be together when the problems happens. The first no is not a final no, and this is for developers. It happens to me so many times that I come to the developer and I ask him, can we do this? And he said to me, no, this is not possible. No, not possible. This is gonna take 300 hours, and we need to test it, and no. And I go to the client, I said, this is very hard to implement. Let's focus on something else. Let's do something different. And after 3 days, they come to me and say, I found the solution for that what you need. I think that project managers need to understand how developer mind is working. And it takes me so many years to understand, and I hope that I'm right. When you put a problem out there, the first answer they're gonna say you it's a no, but it's an inbox solution. And they're gonna keep that problem, and they're gonna think and think and think and think and think and think and think, and they're gonna sleep and think and think and think until they don't find a solution. And they're gonna come to you, and they're gonna give you a solution that is totally out of the box solution, that is amazing. But you need to give them time, and you need to ask them several times, challenge them, and don't go to the client and tell them no. So this is what I learned, and I don't know, developers, what do you think? Sounds about right? Okay. What you give is what you get, or what you see is what you get. I really like this slide. I really believe that if you expect from people on the project, from developers on the project, to put lots of effort in it, that you need to put first yourself. And what I want to say with this slide is basically that if you expect your team to deliver on time, everything that you deliver needs to be delivered on time, because you serve as an example. And if you expect from the team, from the development team, to work overnight, extra hours, overtime, you need to be the first one that's gonna work overtime. And then you can expect from them, you can have some expectations from them, and then you can, and this is how it should be. I don't know how is in your company, how is with your project managers, but I don't like when someone is acting like, okay, you work, you need to deliver this until tomorrow, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna go to my family. I mean, the developer has family as well. So things needs to be very straight and needs to be very clear, and everyone needs to put the same effort. But the one that should be an example is a project manager, because he leads the team. Stand behind your code. This one is for developers. And this one that I learned very recently. What I want to say, I'm going to explain the situation that happens to me. I think that different agencies may behave things different. But I really want that developers on the project that I'm leading stand behind the things that they develop. This basically means that you develop the functionality. It's your functionality. I'm, as a project manager, I'm responsible for it because I lead the project. But it's your functionality, so make it be great. Make it be amazing. It's your piece of art. And also, what is very important, test it. Don't expect me to test it and to find many bugs and report you. Test it. So the way I see it is that, okay, you develop functionality, you test it, you think that it works. But if you don't have a quality assurance team, and mostly agency doesn't have, ask your friend developer to test it, to give you a couple of advices. And then give it to me or whoever is responsible to test it. What I don't like when developers give me the code and I try to test it and I see so many things and they didn't even test. So what I want to say what I say to my team that was working is that you are responsible for it. You need to stand behind it because it's your piece of art, and be proud of it. And in order to be proud of it, you need to make sure that this solution works. And of course, I need to review. I'm going to review it. I'm going to see it. We can find some things that we maybe won't fine tune, but be proud of that work. Raising the hand isn't a failure. This is my favorite slide. And I feel the project manager is responsible to setting environment when everyone on the project should be comfortable to raise the hand. And this happens to me, that I didn't raise the hand on time. And also, very recently happened to one of the developers that didn't raise a hand on time. And the thing is that everyone needs help. Doesn't matter, you're not gonna work with the most amazing developers in the world. You're gonna work with the developers that are young, that you need to teach, that are not confident. And what is very important is to let them know, if you don't know something, if you're struggling with a developing feature, please raise your hand. And they need to feel comfortable with it. But also, more important, it's not a failure if you say, I need a help, I don't know how to do it. It's a step forward, it's not step backward. And I really believe that the project manager is responsible for setting environment that is that everyone is able to say if they have a problem. And for the project, this is important because if you raise a hand on time, there are many, many, many solutions that we can do in order to launch the feature, in order to save the project. But if you raise the hand one day before we need to go live, there's going to be harm to the project, and this is why it's important to set it in the beginning. Maybe it's going to happen that developers will raise a hand too often, but you're going to manage that. You're going to say, hey, I think that you handle this. And then try to focus only on the things that are very hard, because as you go, you have much more experience with Magento and with different stuff. Details make a difference. It's never big things that make a difference. It's always details and the way how you treat people that you work. And I think that is very important to show empathy. And what I like to do is every day when I talk with some developer, the designer or whoever is involved in the project, first question that I ask them is how they are. And I don't ask them because it's nice to ask. I really ask them because I really want to hear how they are. Or if I saw on a Facebook or Instagram what they did, I ask them, oh, how you spend the weekend? I saw that you were there. And I think it's a very nice way to show the respect and to be interested in what they are doing, because they are not just working on your project, they have life, and you need to show in these little things. If your team work late to deliver, I think that you should work late, and that you need to do that. But if you cannot because you have a family or something happens or things are not planned, make sure to show them that they are not alone. So order them a food, or for example, go to the office to check on them, check on messages. These are things that everyone likes, and you gain lots of respect if you act this way. And also embrace the values, include them in the decision-making process. I like to talk with the developers that I work. I like to ask them, okay, so this is what we need to do. This is what decisions I need to make. Can you let me know your way of thinking? And that way, they're going to be more involved in project. And if they are more involved in project, they're going to put more heart and more passion in what they do, because they're going to feel that it's not your project as a project manager. They're going to feel it like it's a project of all of us. I put a matrix because I really like Matrix movie, but it's not that connected with the details. But I like the thing with the black rabbit and the connection with Alice in Wonderland. Big discussion often lead to the great solutions. This is my second favorite tip, and what I really like is a big discussion, especially between a developer and not developer person, because there is a big gap in the way developer thinks and the way that the people that are not developer thinks. And in order, when the fight starts, when the discussion starts, it's amazing because you cover so many of it, because developer will tell you everything about this and you're going to tell him everything about this, but what happens in between is actually the solution that you're going to get. And the other day, I was talking with a designer, and she showed me the designs, and I didn't like it too much. I saw some problems in the design, and she's a very good designer. And I'm going to explain it because I really want you to hear this example. So it's not too technical. It's a very simple thing. So basically, orders history for B2B. You have ability to see orders, to see products, and you can reorder. You have a button for reorder, and then you have a button to download order. And she put the button for reorder, which is call to action. That is very important because we want to reorder, in the same color, in the same font, everything the same as a download. And I said, I really think that we need to highlight more reordering because it's gonna gain more conversion to clients. So I want people to see reorder, not to see the download. And then in another example, we have a quick order, and you are able to order by school or by reference, or you can order by CSV. And she put different buttons. And I said, why you put a different buttons? She said, order by school or order by reference is almost the same thing, just a different way. So I put difference because I want to help person to make a decision. So that's why I put them differently. So okay, they're gonna see a difference and they're gonna decide. But reorder is like add to cart and download. They don't need to decide, because if someone wants to reorder, they're gonna reorder. They're not gonna mix it with the download. And I really like the example she explained, and I really like how she fight for her design. I mean, I didn't agree at the end with her, and I said that, I mean, it should be, you know, everything that is gonna make a conversion to, or make a revenue should be more highlighted, but she was fighting for her design. And I was really challenging her to explain me, and she has a logic behind every step that she did. And this is thing that you should embrace differences in your opinion. Having two opposite opinions will give you big picture. And I also learned something from her. Even if I didn't agree, I learned what is the process, how she was thinking. So having discussions is good, and I really want you to have more discussions, especially with the developers, because they're gonna fight a lot. But and don't be afraid. I mean, when I was younger, when I didn't know Magento that well, when I was insecure, I was avoiding discussions because I didn't have any arguments, and I felt that my arguments are not enough. But today, I'm not afraid to say, you know, I don't understand this, I don't know this, but let's discuss, let's see. Maybe you know better, but I'm gonna give you examples, I'm gonna give you things that I believe. Give honest feedback about the work. This one is tough, because if you need to give a good feedback, more or less you're gonna handle, you're gonna say that they are good, that they are working well. But what happens when you need to give a feedback that is not that good? And it's gonna happen, you're not gonna be satisfied with the all people that work. And I think that you should always prize when someone is doing a great job, and it's very important for them, and you're gonna motivate them, you're gonna make them to be more secure in whatever in the field that they are doing. But giving a honest feedback is not easy, but it's very important. So always try to give a honest feedback. If you're not satisfied totally with someone, tell him, hey, this is what I like about you, this is what you do amazing, but these are the areas that you can improve, and I can help you, so let's change something, and then also finish with something good. And they're gonna appreciate it. Developers are not easy to receive a feedback, but at the end they're gonna appreciate it, they're gonna try to improve, especially if they see that you care, and that you didn't put everything, you know, I don't like to wrap things. I don't want to say something, you know, nice just to say. I'm gonna say you nice if it's nice. I'm gonna say you bad if it's bad. I have no filters, and I don't want to play with filters. So if someone gives you honest feedback about work, appreciate that, because this person, this project manager, really wants you to improve. Embrace who they are. We are all different. All. Developers are a little bit more different. They are so special in so many ways. You have developers that are weird. You have developers that have very good business side also developed. You have developers that don't talk, that don't like to socialize. It doesn't matter. I think that is beautiful, and I really like to see different types of people working together and trying to incorporate things that their weirdness in something great. And I think that project managers should embrace that, because every creature has something special, and this thing that is special really brings unique to the project. And project manager, but also developer, should not be ashamed of something, of who they are. And this is the last tip, is share with the team insights about your work. So why I decided to put this one, because I really think that sometimes project managers do lots of stuff, and developers really doesn't know what they do. And sometimes from outside it may think, okay, she is here having a speech in UK, I'm there working on her project. And it can be perceived like this, really, and there is no one to blame. But if you told them, okay, after this speech, I'm going to review this design on your project, and then I'm going to meet with this client and this client to do this, you're going to give them more secure that you really care. So giving your team insights about various things that you do, that you're handling, not hiding from them, it can improve project, and they can see your value much quicker, and they can see your effort that you are bringing to the project. And it's important for them to really see that you are pushing as much as do, not in the same direction because you don't know how to code, but you can manage other things that are very important in order for the projects to be successful. And these are my tips, my 10 tips that I decided to share with you. I would like to hear, is there any tip that you would like to add on top of these 10 tips, or do you have any other questions maybe that you would like to ask? Not having questions is bad. Okay, so thank everyone for, there is a question. Yes.
Ozzy's always going to have a question.
Saver, last bit of Saver.
Hi, well done. I really enjoyed the talk. There was your preferred slide about raising a hand.
Okay.
Okay.
We can go there
yeah.
if you want.
Which I totally agree. I find it very interesting, and yes, I absolutely agree with you. It's not a sign of failure. Actually, it is a sign of confidence.
It is.
Absolutely. Be able to say, well, I don't know. I'm not sure about it.
Yeah.
Which actually brings me to something else, and I'd like to have your opinion about it. Mm-hmm. Developers typically are always demanded to bring solutions, solve these problems. And sometimes developers don't have the full understanding of the problem. Again, it's part of this kind of raising the hands. Do you find that developers actually have the courage to say, look, the problem is not clear. What am I going to solve here? What is the problem? And there is an old saying, which I think is totally wrong, which is, don't bring me problems, bring me solutions. But without understanding problems, what solution are you going to bring? So how do you manage that? And how do you help the developers to understand problems and then work on solutions?
Okay, so first thing that the developer that's gonna tell to you, how we gonna, is this logical, or whatever you said, is developer that is very good one, because he has a big picture. So he can say, this doesn't make sense. But most likely they're developers, because there is a long road from being beginner and being a senior. And for what is much bigger problem when you ask the developer that is junior to give you a solution, did he cover all the areas that he needs to cover? So I like to make a solution together with the developer. So I'm gonna give them ideas. I'm gonna give them, okay, about why we don't do like this, or maybe we can do like this, or how difficult do you do like this. So I don't, because especially when they are younger, when they don't have experience, they're not able to think about all these creative solutions. It takes experience. So I like to help them in that way, that I'm gonna propose, but they need to develop. So they need to tell me how complex it is, and in some cases, if they are younger, I'm the one that's having a bigger picture. But I really like when the developer said to you and put on the table, this doesn't make sense. We're not gonna solve anything with this. And then I think that here is where the reference is that we are all in this together, and we together needs to find a solution. In most cases, we're gonna ask them to give us a solution, but I think that we can propose a solution, and they can tell us, okay, this makes sense, this doesn't make sense, because I don't know how to develop this. So I expect on them to tell me that, and also I expect on them to have a big picture, but you also need to work with the different ages and different experience, and you need to be aware of it, and you need to help them to think the way you want them to think, and it's not easy. I hope that I answered your question. Okay, is there any other question?
Any
Yes?
developers have got any questions?
Hi.
Hi.
Just want to know, how do you embed young developers or new developers into the existing team?
How do you
Embed or bring in?
bring it?
Yeah.
So I really like to work with the young developers. Really, really, really. I found that working with the young developers that are passionate, you can do amazing stuff. And it's very hard to work with someone that is senior because they already know, the ego is a little bit, because they know what they want, they know. But the young ones, they are so young, they want everything, and working with them for me is so easy, and we can very, 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 very quickly from the beginner to become senior because they are passionate. So they're gonna find a solution. They're gonna want to improve their solution. So sometimes they're gonna give you ideas that are much better than the one that are gonna senior give you, because senior knows what he knows and he's sometimes a little bit lazy. So how we do it, we love them, and we help them to feel confident. We help them to feel secure, and then start to building on this. And there was another question.
More cardio for
There is
me.
another question in the end.
Hiya. Do you ever think it's a good idea for the clients and the developers to talk?
Yes, I think that it depends on the strategy of the company. For example, in Inchu, developers were talking, especially when they were digging more in the technical. In interactiv4, it's a little bit different because we have a separate tool that is for clients and project managers, and then there is a separate tool that is Jira for project managers and the developers. And I really think that it's important for a client, but depending on what his background is, to talk and to know each other and to know what they know, especially if the client is a bit technical. Yes, for sure. I'm the one that is leading project and mostly communicating, but then when you have something that needs to be covered technically, I really like developer to communicate only if they feel comfortable with it, because you have someone that really don't know how to communicate, but the ones that know, they really also want, and they want to. It's also important to give them ability to be important, because honestly they are important. I mean, they are building the solution. So, any other question? So thanks everyone for listening me. If you want to catch up, we can talk after, and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.